Please be aware that I got forced to record this video by a friend of mine. He asked me, do you already have a recording on this new feature? And I said no. So if this is not as good as you usually know it from me, don't blame me. Please blame Raphael. This video is about a new feature that allows you to create a project in Codecatalyst, which then actually stores the source code in GitHub. This is pretty interesting because it also allows you to start off with a blueprint and then deploy and then open source your project source code, which is today not possible in Codecatalyst. Let's have a look. The new feature was announced on the 6th of June 2024, and we're going to try to actually use this today. So how does this work? If you read the documentation, it says you can follow the same stuff that you did before, and you can now just use a GitHub connection to actually store your source code created from a blueprint. Creating a project from a blueprint is what we're going to try. If you go to Codecatalyst, which you can find over here in the URL, you can start off with the blueprint, and there's even a new blueprint that I would love to try out. I'm going to do a separate video on that, but this is going to be an LLM playground that you can actually use to get yourself started. Now, after reading the information about the blueprint, which I will not do now, I should also be able to move ahead to the next section, which now gives you the possibility under the Advanced tab to select a repository provider. Previously, we only had Codecatalyst. Now we also have the possibility to add GitHub. As you see, it's gonna moan here because I do not have a personal GitHub connection. So it says it will fail as I don't have the permissions. This is noted in the documentation as well. What I do not understand in this is right now that it gives me this GitHub connection. Now, to understand this, we need to look at the space. The space has this GitHub connection already connected, but not my personal user profile. So if you go to your personal user profile over here, my settings, you will then see that down here, I do not have any personal connections. However, going back to the space settings, I should see that there is a GitHub connection set up somewhere. So under extensions, I have the GitHub repositories configured. So I assume it's going to fail if I try this out. So I'm going to first set up my my personal GitHub connection now. For that, I'm going to go over here into the user settings. I reach that by going through my settings. I'm going to click create over here. I could choose a provider over here. So it seems like they are expecting to do this going forward. I want to use my personal profile and not my organizational one. And this now shows a personal connection over here. So now I can go back to projects. I can do create project. And given I've seen the size of the LLM playground one, I'm not going to use that for now. Let's go with a simple one and let's use a static website to do that deployment. This uses Amplify hosting, and I should be able to just get started over here. Gonna choose the GitHub provider. Now I see the same account twice. Log, what is that? Static website from Codecatalyst. And I will use Hugo. I want to do build, test, and deploy. I can use a target account over here. I can use a deployment role in the same way that I would usually do that. I want to use Frankfurt for the deployment. And let's try that. And now I should be in my GitHub account. Hopefully see a new blueprint that is a new project that is being created. So let's go to my repositories. Yay! There is a new project. It comes with all of the details that I need. It comes with pure HTML, which is not bad. And I can also see that in codecatalyst. So it was very simple to use this generation with codecatalyst. This is cool, as I said, because now I can open source the source code as well. Now let's see if we can apply a second blueprint to this. And we are going to apply I don't know, this one. I don't even know what it deploys. It doesn't matter. I just want to see if this actually works as well. Okay, here I can also choose the GitHub provider. I can use my GitHub account. I need to use a build role. Runtime language. I don't want to use Java. Now this is interesting. The repository name is a different one, right? So it's gonna create something in a new repository. And I will see that there is a connection over here. Let's see what happens if I do static website content. For those that have been using codecatalyst blueprints, now it should generate the details into the same project, which is actually going to be messing up the project, I guess. But I want to see if that works and if it also creates for me a pull request in GitHub, because that's the interesting piece. Okay, now I can see that it has been added. I can see that there is a pending pull request, and this one actually points to GitHub pull request. And this is cool because now I really have the source code management completely over here. And now I can merge and approve this pull request to get this one included. So this is pretty cool. Let me merge that. And then see if codecatalyst also recognizes that. Gonna reload that. Cool. I'm happy with that. We should also see multiple workflows running. One of been let's go with the main branch. This one comes from the SAM workflow, I would guess. There's a workflow definition error, I assume, because we destroyed it, right? But we can also look at that and see what the error is. So seems like I forgot to choose a deployment role somewhere, right? But I guess that this was really my problem when I set this up. Okay. Good. So we have seen that it is possible to add a second blueprint here as well. This is pretty cool. I now have my source code all in GitHub, and I do have the project and the workflows correspondingly in codecatalyst. And this is great because this really gives me the possibility to also manage everything that I want now in GitHub, coming from blueprints. And I guess that this will also work with custom blueprints that you can build. So as we saw, you can now do project scaffolding for projects that live in GitHub. This should not only work for accounts that are personal accounts, but also for organizational accounts. I will not try this out now, but I think it should work as well. And this is great because you can now use codecatalyst blueprints to actually do project scaffolding for all of your projects that you'll have in GitHub. Essentially, that also means that you can start using custom blueprints in codecatalyst and generate code for projects that you will then use in an enterprise that uses GitHub. So this is pretty cool. You can now extend that potentially to not only generate codecatalyst workflows, but also generate GitHub workflows. Maybe that's a functionality that the team could allow as well with the Blueprints framework. I'm looking forward to see where this goes. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you, Raphael, for forcing me to record this today. Bye-bye.